CJ Stroud is used to being the center of attention when he is on the football field, and it'll be the same way this weekend when he steps on the field at the NFL Combine.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, Buckeye fans? Welcome back to another episode of Locked On Buckeyes for the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, also the host of the Jay Stevens Podcast. It is a Friday, March 3rd in the year 2023, and this episode is brought to us by our good friends at FanDuel Sportsbook, official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn today to get started. During this episode, we will discuss why it is important that Jaxon Smith-Njigba shows up and shows out this weekend during the NFL Combine. And can Ronnie Hickman raise his draft stock this weekend? But before we get to any of that, all eyes will be focused on CJ Stroud this weekend when he steps on the field for on-field drills during the NFL Combine. Zach Harrison had his presser early a couple days ago, did not do any on-field drills a day ago during the NFL Combine when defensive linemen were the first unit on the field during this event. Stroud, his time is going to come on Saturday afternoon. You can look, you can watch, you can see what Stroud does, and this is important for Stroud, and I think he's ready for all eyes to be on Ohio State's QB1. This is an amazing opportunity. And an opportunity that only is available to 319 players. As good as Noah Ruggles was, the kicker at Ohio State, he didn't even get invited to this event, which shows how exclusive this group is of athletes and football players that get invited to this event. It's also an exclusive group to be a potential first-round pick. Let's up the ante a little bit. It's even more of an exclusive group to be someone who's probably going to be a top 5 pick, but at worst, literally at worst, top 10. I say top 9, but at worst, let's just keep it for number's sake, top 10. That's an exclusive group. Let's go up a little bit more. It's literally easily Stroud and Bryce Young battling for the top of the food chain in the NFL draft for the best quarterback in this draft. Yes, I've heard Will Levis could be number 1 overall pick. I think that'd be stupid. And this is why Stroud can shut up all the doubters, can shut up all the haters, and sit here and say, look, Bryce Young ain't throwing. Will Levis is here. Yeah, he has all the physical traits. Great, whatever. Is he a winner? Does he do things on the football field that change the game? Does he have pinpoint accuracy? How is his arm strength? Now, I don't think Stroud's going to beat him in all of those categories, but these are things that CJ Stroud's going to have to answer questions about. And ultimately, while he is on the football field, CJ Stroud is a player that's going to have to play and bring his A game and make all the throws. All of them. And he can. We've seen it at Ohio State over the past couple years. When CJ Stroud is at his best, he can make any throw. Literally any throw. Doesn't matter if it's to a Njigba or Stover or Olave or Wilson or Harrison Jr. or Ibuka or Xavier Johnson. Doesn't matter who the pass is thrown to. CJ can hit him and stride and set him up to get yards after the catch. CJ Stroud, they're also going to check out his mentals. Ask him some things in the presser. He'll have some conversations with some different teams. I bet you the Texans, maybe even the Bears, the Colts, the Panthers, the Raiders, some teams specifically there in the top portion of the draft. They're going to be looking at him and asking him questions. Now, the Bears don't need a quarterback, but they have the number 1 pick. So you might as well do your due diligence to talk to just the top guys just to see what they're all about. There are rumors that the Bears might end up, some people are thinking the Bears could move out of that, or some teams could trade up to the number 1 overall pick to solidify their spot to get their guy. Great. Well, how about CJ Stroud? Come on the field and show everybody that he is the guy that they should draft in the NFL draft coming up at the end of April. It's a luxury. We talked about it, I want to say a week ago, that Bryce Young is not throwing and not doing anything with his arm during this event. He'll make his throws during Alabama's Pro Day. I want to say that's later this month. Great, cool. Go ahead and do that. Not a big deal. It's still going to be in shorts and a T-shirt. It's still going to be an event where there's no pass rush going at you. It's still going to be an event where it's somewhat scripted. Now, your pro day is scripted. You know the throws you're making. You know the receivers. You have a little bit of chemistry there, and you know exactly the throws and when they're going to be made. You know all of those things. So the pro day and combine, it can only help you so much. But for CJ Stroud, when he's trying to move up, and if he kills the combine and then goes on to kill the pro day, what is he going to do? Or what can he do during this event? Make himself some money. And that's what it's all about, right? It's all about the Benjamins. I mean, y'all seen the movie. It's all about the Benjamins. And CJ Stroud can add a lot more money to his bank account by performing well during this event, the NFL Combine. I talk a lot about the on-field stuff and CJ Stroud maybe running the 40 or the cone drill and those types of things like that, 3-cone drill or the shuttle and the vertical. Great. Those things are great. Those tests are fine. But if I'm an NFL coach or scout or executive, I want to know about the mentals of CJ Stroud. Because I question them at times. You question them at times. Many of us that have been around here watching Ohio State football, or maybe you hop in and fly in for a particular game. Maybe it's a game against the team up north. I talked to somebody about this, an Auburn guy, about Ryan Day and his coaching during that game. Some people only fly in and hop in during big games. Maybe you only watched the Georgia game this past year, or you watched Penn State and Michigan. Maybe you saw Notre Dame week 1. Whatever it is, you can see, yeah, Stroud's a good player. But the mentals, man, some people maybe can watch just those games and say, some of the mentals of this quarterback, what's going on here? And the more you question them and the more those are questioned, that means that the executives, the coaches, the scouts that represents these professional football organizations, they're going to question them as well. And Stroud, he will not only make himself on the field, money on the field by performing well, he can also make himself some money, a lot of money, by knocking out these interviews and conversations with people that represent different football teams in the National Football League. CJ Stroud, the opportunity is right in front of you. Seize the day, young man. Seize the day. Another Buckeye who needs to seize this opportunity is someone that didn't play very much in 2022. It's Jaxon Smith-Njigba. I'm here to tell you why he needs to seize this opportunity in front of him during the NFL Combine. We'll discuss all that next right here on Locked on Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The midway point of the NBA season is here, and now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Then you can bet on everything from the money line to point scorers and threes drink. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same-game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/lockedon. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thanks for making Locked on Buckeyes your first listen every day. Make sure you check out our brand new podcast, Locked on College Basketball. Everything you need to know about college basketball in one place. Plus, hear from big name experts, insiders, coaches, and players. Locked on College Basketball, available on YouTube and wherever you get your fine podcasts. So CJ Stroud's going to get a lot of attention on Saturday. Actually, the next player we're going to talk about is also going to be on the field on Saturday as well, in Jaxon Smith-Njigba. There are 8 players. Before I go any further, let's go through and run down the list of players at the NFL Combine that still have on-field drills this weekend. Zach Harrison on Thursday did not participate. He did speak to the media, and I think he's going to have some conversations with NFL teams as well over the next couple of days. Friday, defensive backs are up. That is Ohio State corner Cam Brown and Ohio State safety Ronnie Hickman. On Saturday, quarterbacks, wide receivers are up. That is CJ Stroud and Jaxon Smith-Njigba. On Sunday, offensive linemen and running backs are up. That is left tackle Paris Johnson Jr., right tackle DeJuan Jones, and center Luke Whippler. This is a great opportunity for all these guys, and I do think we'll probably combine some of them in the very next segment as I try to figure out, try to alter things so you can get more of the information that you want and need from this team. But Njigba didn't play a lot. You don't need to see the stats. They're not pretty because he didn't have multiple 15-catch games like he did in 2021. Didn't have a game against Nebraska where he had 240 in the air. Didn't have a game against Utah where he was the reason the team won the game. Like, I understand the second half resurgence, some say, by the defense and Tommy Eckenberg and them playing inspired football. If it wasn't for Njigba, Ohio State loses that game to Utah. Think about it. They only won the game by 3 points. So let's kind of pump the brakes and realize, the defense was okay. Really not good a lot of the time. That game was a CJ Stroud, Jaxon Smith-Njigba time for them to shine. And they did very well with that. Before a player like Njigba, who didn't play very much, he played against, was it Toledo, played against Notre Dame, came back after the bye week against, Iowa, didn't play much. That hamstring injury, many people are going to wonder, is he healthy? What kind of player are we going to be getting? How in the world should we expect, or how can we project what Njigba's going to be without the medicals? Oh, little side note there. The medicals here, this is a big reason for the NFL Combine. Measuring your height, measuring your weight. How do you come in? Are you in shape? Have you bulked up a little bit? Can you move when you're bulked up? Have you cut weight a little bit? How do you move on the field when you cut weight? All of those things are very, very important. So when it comes to Njigba, I think for him, the medical testing is going to be huge. Because if Njigba comes out here and if he's not cleared, now they say that there was stuff coming out. Would he play in the role in the game against Georgia? Would he not? Ultimately, he decided to not play via the advice of his medical team. Great, cool. I understand that. But if he's coming out now and clearly not healthy, that may dictate if he goes in the first round or not. Some say he's a potential first-round pick. We'll get more about that from my guy, Ryan Roberts, my favorite NFL draft scout when he comes on the show. Trying to get him on the show next week, but then also a lot over the next month and a half as we discuss Buckeyes in the NFL draft. Njigba's medicals are very, very important. What else is important is if Njigba gets on the field, how does he move? How is he moving? How is he coming in and out of breaks? How are his hands? Is he still the same player on the route runner that he was a year ago? Or has he gone backwards? Or maybe is he still a little bit rusty post recovering from the hamstring injury? I will tell you this. I haven't really gone much about this in a while. The handling and the conversations and how this whole thing went down with Njigba during the season. I'm not saying he was not hurt. I would not be like that guy. I understand hamstring injuries are tricky. But it's always seemed fishy, his absence from the football field. It's always seemed a little odd. Because I think, and part of me still believes, and I think some of you still believe as well, Njigba could have played during the season. Or maybe he was never fully healthy. Maybe the Notre Dame game was him not being healthy, and the Buckeyes tried to force him back on the field. And we saw they did Travion Henderson and that injury. Didn't handle it very well. We saw the running backs and how they handled those injuries. Some were not handled very well. We saw how the team has handled different things along the way. It happens. But as we think about this, as we think about Njigba, as we think about Buckeyes, as we think about this combine, what do we have in mind? It's Njigba. He can be a better receiver than any guy out there at the combine if he's healthy. I disregard the season, disregard all that stuff. I had to get that off my chest. But Njigba can be the best guy out there running the routes. Now, here's a question. Will Jaxon Smith-Njigba be a number one receiver, outside receiver, not really number one, just an outside receiver in the National Football League, or will he be Will he be a slot receiver consistently? Only a slot. You can make a lot of money at the slot position. Keenan Allen, think about him. That man got the bag. You can be really good at the slot position, playing only that position. I get it. It can happen. But many people out there say if you're not the number one guy, you're not the number one receiver, that diminishes your role on the football team and how productive and how successful the team can be. Now, granted, yes, the number one receiver is a different skill set, but ultimately, if a team gets Njigba in the slot and he is healthy and he's out there running, that's great. Now, the thing is also, do you want a blazing guy in the slot? Do you want a really fast guy? Now, it's a 40 time for these decision makers. Is that important? Because I don't expect Njigba to run very fast. Like, if he ran a 4.6, high 4.5, like a low 4.6, high 4.5, I think the 4.5, high 4.5 would be fast for him. If he's running that, okay, I'm not mad about it. But how do the decision makers view that 40 time? All things you got to think about. All things that are going to be going through the heads of these decision makers this weekend when Njigba is on the football field at the NFL Combine. Get one of Biletnikoff in 2021 that went to Jordan Addison. I believe Jalen Hyatt won it this year over Marvin Harrison Jr. Harrison Jr. will not be at the Combine until a year from now. And you know what? I think this is a great time for Njigba to remind everybody what he is, how he plays, how consistent he is on the football field when he's healthy. When he's not healthy, when he has a hamstring injury, buddy, sometimes it was not fun to watch. What is fun to watch is Njigba. When he catches the ball, when that young man gets loose, it's fun to watch him skedaddle through the defense and take multiple trips to pay dirt. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, I'll have my eyes on you this weekend. The people in the stands at Lucas Oil Stadium, they'll have their eyes on you this weekend. And you know what? As all eyes are on you, I hope you're healthy. I hope you perform well. I hope you handle those interviews very well, because if you do so, you, my friend, can make a lot of money this weekend in Indianapolis, Indiana. There are other players at Ohio State who can make a lot of money as well at the NFL Combine. We'll discuss who they are next right here on Locked on Buckeyes. This episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Looking for a delicious treat but don't want all of the fat and calories? Then you got to try a Built Bar. We just got through the holidays, and I know my goal is to eat a little healthier this year. If you're like me, where you want to eat healthier but don't want to compromise taste, then man, I've got just the thing for you. You got to try Built. With Built, healthy is actually tasty. What makes Built Bar so good? Well, for starters, they are all covered in 100% real chocolate. And they come in unbelievable flavors like churro, peanut butter brownie, and coconut almond. And now you don't need to wait around to get a box. For years, we've been talking about ordering your Built Bars at Built.com. Now you can get them at your local Walmart or Sam's Club. Head to your nearest Walmart today, walk to the pharmacy section, and grab yourself a box of Built Bars. You can pick up a 4-bar box of cookies and cream, double chocolates, or coconut puffs. If you're close to Sam's Club, run in and grab a 13-bar box with our hit flavors, brownie batter, and churro. You can thank me later. Sports betting is now legal in Ohio, and Locked On has the perfect show to help new and seasoned gamblers. Download and subscribe to Locked On Bets for daily picks and analysis wherever you get your fine podcasts. The NFL Combine, the Underwear Olympics, whatever you want to call it, is a part of a huge interview process for players who are striving to be drafted in the NFL Draft. Jaxon Smith-Njigba, CJ Stroud, they're going to get all the eyes and attention this weekend. Zach Harrison, he's already been behind the podium, did not step on the field for on-field drills when the defensive linemen were first up, the first group to perform during the NFL Combine. What about the other guys? We talked about three of the 8 so far. A lot about Harrison a day ago on yesterday's show. What about Paris Johnson Jr., DeJuan Jones, Fluke Whippler, Cam Brown, and Ronnie Hickman? I think among this group, there were 2 guys specifically that can make themselves a lot of money. I think Paris Johnson Jr., first-round pick. I think DeJuan Jones, probably a second-round pick. I don't think he's a latter part of the first round, but probably a second-round pick at worst, beginning of the third round at worst. Still not bad. You're making yourself money. But when it comes to guys, the two guys that can make themselves the most money and raise your draft stock a lot, it's really hard for one of them being the position that he's at, and you're not doing all the things you do on the football field at this event. It's Luke Whippler and Ronnie Hickman. Whippler, because I still believe he came out a year too early. I think he should have stayed at Ohio State. It would have been a starting center. I understand you got a transfer, and Vic Cutler, who will probably be the starting center going into spring practice. I think Vic Cutler, you bring him in, you could put him when you have the two guards still there, and Matthew Jones and the other in the left guard. Wow, names are escaping my memory lately. Yeah, Luke Whippler, that's you, man. And maybe Vic Cutler does not transfer. Maybe he does. And if he does, ultimately, he starts next year. I think Vic Cutler could start this year or next year, depending on when a spot was available. I don't think he would have transferred if Whippler would have stayed, which I still think would have been the right decision. But if Whippler comes in and kills these interviews, kills them, proves to people that he made the right decision via the one-on-one or the conversation he has with the different teams throughout the National Football League, and when he's on the field, now not so much the 40, the broad jump, if he does that very well, and these drills, the 3-cone drills, and he's showing lateral movement and quickness in the drills there, it's not a sign or a drill that is going to be something that is going to mimic something you do on the football field in that moment. But if he has lateral quickness, if he has the moves, if he has quick feet, if he's able to think on his toe, all of those things, NFL teams might like him. Now, Ronnie Hickman is one also. I think he's more of an in-the-box kind of football player than a guy who's better in space. If you're a safety in the NFL, with the way the NFL runs the offense, you got to be good in space, man. It's a passing league. College football, it's a passing league. What does he need to do? Be good in space. What is he not good at? Being good in space. And so in the drills, when you have to backpedal, turn right, keep going, turn left, keep going, turn right, keep going. And he says, ha! And he goes and he gives you the motion to turn around and high point the ball, a ball that is thrown as a deep ball. Maybe the guy's running a go route, whatever it is. You got to show, young man, you can flip them hips and turn them hips. You are not tight, that you are not too high, you're not too low, but your balance is steady. And so when you turn, ha! And you go that way, it's stuff I hear through the TV during the NFL Combine. When he goes that way and throws that ball way up there, you can go back there, track the ball, catch it with two hands, and skedaddle up the field the other way, trying to take a trip to pay dirt. Ronnie Hickman is a guy I'm watching closely. Now, Cam Brown's one. I think DeJuan Jones, before I get to Cam Brown, I think DeJuan Jones, I think Paris Johnson Jr., I think they're going to test. I know the 40 doesn't mean anything in the NFL Combine. It's just something that you do. If you're a returner, maybe they factor this into if you're going to be a return man or not. But even then, you're not running 40 yards straight. And if you are running 40 yards straight, you're not coming out of a 3-point stance. You're not coming out of a track stance to run in a straight line in your quote-unquote underwear. It's not truly underwear. Compression shorts, the workout shirt, whatever it is. You're not running a 40-yard dash that way. So hear me out. I understand it. But that might be the only time that the 40-yard dash is a sign of what somebody might be on the football field. For a guy like DeJuan Jones, I only want to see what his time is. That's it. That's it. I don't think it'll be fast. Great. I just want to see his time. Paris Johnson Jr., I want to see his time as well. But that's about it. I think that their spots are solidified. They would have to play really bad or come in really out of shape. DeJuan Jones was weighed in at 375 during the Senior Bowl. If he comes in at 390, 388, that might be an issue because there's been a conversation about his weight throughout his entire tenure playing football at Ohio State. If he comes in down to 360 or 355, okay, cool. We're going in the right direction. We're cutting weight. Let's see how he moves at a lighter weight. Great, because he moved well at 375 during the Senior Bowl practice. What does he do at 360, 355, maybe 350? I doubt he cut 25 pounds that quickly. I doubt he did. But hey, man, his weight's going to be something people are going to be looking at. When it comes to Cam Brown, I was not pleased with this play in 2022. I don't believe you were pleased with this play in 2022. Yes, I understand injury was a problem, and he's going to have to answer questions about that as well. But when you come in during your presser and you're wearing a chain that has a lock, Yes, a necklace that has a padlock on it, buddy. You can't wear that and then come to this event and play bad. You can't do it. You can't do it at all. So, Cam Brown, I hope you're ready. All eyes will be on you as well, at least Ohio State fans. We'll be watching you closely. We're out here on a Friday, a Feel Good Friday. I hope everyone's ready to enjoy the weekend. Is going to be watching the NFL Combine or maybe XFL football or whatever it is. Maybe you're having fun with your family and friends. Maybe it's basketball you're watching at the local high school level. Whatever it is, I hope you have fun and enjoy a few days off of work. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at jstevens07. You can send all of your emails to jstevens317@gmail.com. Out of here on this Feel Good Friday, guys. Have a good weekend. Enjoy this weather. We'll be back again, recapping the NFL Combine on Monday.